Good morning, Mr. Barnett. This is file number 26195SM, People versus Samuel Robert Barnett. Mr. Barnett is charged with domestic assault on Angelica Burke that allegedly occurred on February the 8th of 2026. The good news is we're fairly close in time to when this occurred. He's here with his lawyer. He pled no contest, and the matter was set for today. I asked for the police report and victim input. Prosecutor did recommend a deferral. There's sometimes an issue with a deferral with a no contest plea when they don't exactly admit. But I think there was a memory issue here, being able to recall everything. Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I believe that the prosecutor also got a copy, but when we came in for our pre-trial, the initial pre-trial, my client had already gone to Pivotal and gotten an assessment done. Some of the issues that they relate on the assessment are substance abuse and some mental health issues. My client is still a relatively young man. He does indicate that he's going to have some work starting here shortly in Three Rivers. So I think all in all, Your Honor, this is the first type of assaultive conviction for my client. I believe that the Pivotal assessment does give the court a roadmap of treatment for him. Obviously anger management and substance abuse abstinence would always be recommended for him. I think he's eager to get on the probation, get this behind him, and hopefully move on. All in all, Your Honor, I think that he would be a good candidate for the deferral. We've talked about what that would look like, and he's agreeable to that. So we'd ask the court to use a probation, defer any jail time over the course of that probation. Thank you.
Ms. Stoll, you guys were part of the plea offer. I would note at the time of his arrest, he was 0.000. So that's a plus. Prosecutor did not object to the deferral. Anything else you'd like me to know?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Just one moment.
Well, I did ask for a police report and victim input in this case. Do we have anybody here on behalf of Angelica Burke? Would you like to speak? All right, why don't you come forward? The law requires that I adjourn these matters at least 10 days to allow victim input. I like to do it anyway because I like to know what the complainant has to say. Are you Angelica Burke?
Yes.
And this happened at you guys' room at the Tower Motel on February 8th. He dumped some water on you and some other stuff. What would you like me to know?
If I'm being honest, he needs to go to jail. That's that. This isn't the only incident. I was afraid to report any of the incidents. The last incident I did report, I never followed through with.
Last incident before this or after this?
Before this one.
Okay.
The officer kept trying to come out to the motel, but I ended up leaving to go with my aunt in Hillsdale. And then I ended up coming back, which I know was stupid on my part, but he is.
Well, this was February 9th. How much time after that first incident you're talking about was this?
This was literally a week or two before this big incident.
Okay. Now, you dumped some beer out, but his blood alcohol came back as 0. Do you remember what the whole fight was about?
Him being gone all night or all day, pretty much.
And you said, if I hadn't called her, you probably would have killed me tonight.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So he says he blacks out and doesn't remember anything when you ask him about it. which, okay, fine, whatever. But you know your limits, you know, if you're gonna sit there and hold me against the wall with your forearm against my throat, you got some issues. Or if you're gonna freaking throw me against the wall, fine. But stop drinking. He needs help. He needs major help.
Well, I was interested because he had been drinking. He takes off. He doesn't have any insurance. He doesn't have a license. He doesn't have proper plates. They give him a PBT and it comes back as 0-0.
Which literally he would, when he come home, he was staggering. He couldn't freaking walk. He was literally falling over his own shoes.
So that was a surprise to me. And he went to jail, and I don't think they give him a PBT at the jail. Sometimes they do, but if they did, I couldn't find it. So he acknowledges a substance abuse issue and a mental health issue. Do you and he have children together?
Yes, we do.
How many kids?
I have a 9-month-old now, and then I have one on the way.
Where are you staying? Don't give me the address, just what town.
3 Rivers.
Are you still working at Ox Paperboard?
No, Your Honor.
Are you working anywhere?
I'm being ready to go turn in my birth certificate so I can get into PTI inside American Axle.
What's your due date?
August 24th.
You guys are stuck with each other for the next 18 years. Well, I'm glad you're here. It gives me some context here. Abigail, now that we've heard from our complainant, do you wish to have any other additional input?
Yes, Your Honor. I was just made aware that on March 5th, the defendant violated his bond by following the victim to her home. He had contact with her and their children, and this was also witnessed by another person.
That's in here. There was a report that Samuel Barnett was in violation of his court-ordered conditional bond by making contact with her. Barnett has a conditional order prohibiting contact. No contact was made. Incident occurred. She was with her friends April Woods, who was driving around to help her locate new housing. They entered Whispering Pines. They were followed by Samuel Barnett. They parked at a friend's lot. Barnett continued to follow them, parked and approached on foot once they stopped. Barnett hugged Burke and began telling her everything would be okay. Talked about their court appearance. She said she wanted to report the contact because he doesn't take this theory seriously and thinks he can get away with everything. So there wasn't assaultive contact, but there was contact as the allegation. So the deputy submitted a bond violation request on March 10th. So on that day, Mr. Barnett, did you give her a hug?
No, Your Honor, and I got a witness.
All right, so you're saying that didn't happen.
And Your Honor, we never received anything regarding any type of bond violation here.
All right, well, you should have. So let's see. That was March 10th. Well, it makes a big difference to me. One, she says it happened. You say it didn't. So either you're lying or she's lying. And she has a witness that saw it.
So do I, Your Honor. and who I was with. She's actually right here in the courtroom.
All right, but so their testimony is that you didn't have contact with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, that doesn't help. So
was
on
with
Sunday,
that
I was with
person.
Daniel Barnett all day and he never had contact with the complainant. On Monday, she says that you approached her and gave her a big hug and followed her in there and said everything will be okay. If that happened, you're lying. And so your friend can't testify about something that didn't happen. But she says I was with him for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
She has been for the last 3 weeks.
Ms. Stoll, did you get the bond violation notice?
I don't see it anywhere in his file. I was just made aware of it a few minutes ago, in a separate file.
Well, I'm not sure. It was filed with the court. I don't know what we did with it. Well, there's the difference between 90 days in jail and a probation, particularly since he isn't admitting it. If he did admit it and said, yeah, I gave her a hug and said everything was going to be okay, he says it didn't happen at all. And if that's his story, I guess he can stick to it. But if she proves by preponderance that he did it, I'm just going to put him in jail. I'm not going to do a deferral. Because a benchmark of this is honesty. So I need to continue the sentence. Need a bond violation hearing. I would consider doing it right now, but it's already noon and we've got 2 more sentences to do. Who's your witness who was with you 24/7?
My wife.
When did you get married?
This was before my kids' mother. We never got a divorce.
All right, so you're married, but you got a baby and another one on the way?
Yes, Your Honor.
Eeh.
What started as a routine domestic assault sentencing took a sharp and unexpected turn the moment the victim herself walked through that courtroom door. Angelica Burke didn't come in with a written statement. She came with the truth, describing in her own words being held against a wall by her throat, being thrown, and living with a man she said would have killed her if she hadn't made that call. That kind of testimony doesn't get handed to you by a prosecutor. It comes from someone who has been afraid for a long time and finally has a room full of people who have to listen. Then the floor dropped out completely. Midway through sentencing, the prosecutor revealed that the defendant had allegedly followed the victim to her new housing, approached her on foot, and told her everything would be okay, all while under a court-ordered no-contact condition. The defendant denied it. The judge looked him in the eye and said plainly, "Either you're lying or she's lying." And then came the alibi witness, a wife he never divorced, even while fathering a child with the victim and expecting another. The judge did the right thing. He stopped the proceedings, refused to grant a deferral, and scheduled a formal hearing. He also publicly acknowledged that bond violation reports had been filed with his own court and had simply sat in a file without action. That kind of accountability is rare in any courtroom. This case is a reminder that behind every docket number is a real person who is afraid, who has been hurt, and who deserves to be heard before a sentence is handed down. The system didn't fail completely today. It caught itself just in time. If you found this case as eye-opening as we did, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns because justice never gets old.